Ah, bollocks. Okay guys, welcome to a Arcade Perfect My Arse. This is actually the second time I've recorded this voiceover thing. I recorded it, got to the end and realised I hadn't pressed the bloody record button. Anyway, that's not your problem, that's my problem. This game is Buggy Boy, released in 1986 by, is it Tatsumi, I think it is? Seems like a type of orange. Released in 1986. I remember playing this in the arcade in Bathgate. Now there was two things that jumped out at me about this game. The first one was the size of the screen it was on. The screen was enormous. It was probably only like a, I don't know, a 20-inch TV, whatever, but it just looked so much bigger than anything else that was out there. Second thing was how blocky the graphics looked. Saying that, it doesn't actually look too bad now. It's one of these games that looked blockier back in the day. There was two different versions in the arcade. There's this one which was just on a sort of square screen, and there was also one which used three screens, so it was super wide. Never actually got to see it in the arcade. It's in MAME obviously, but yeah, I did play it a couple of times, but it wasn't a game that I went back to too much. But really nice, really good fun to play. Quite a simplistic sort of game. I think the idea of the game is to collect the flags, like that is demonstrating. Collect the flags for points. You've also got one, you can see there at the back, the time. When you go through that, you get extra time. There are four, there's north, south, east and west courses. I don't know if there's any other courses apart from these four, really not too sure. But obviously it uses a steering wheel. Now I'm using a mouse and a keyboard, so I'm probably going to be all over the place with this. But one thing about this game is the graphics are just huge, really large looking, but super playable, it really was. Oh, try to get the time, you want to try and get the time. Now one thing, I don't know if I'll come across any, there's little rocks which are like little wedge shapes. Now if you hit one of them, it basically flips you up onto two wheels. Now that there's a log. When you hit a log, am I going to hit a log here? If you've not already guessed what I do with these Arcade Perfects, I play the games, then I do the voiceover after. I just find it easier, it means I can kind of do it in two chunks. It's just a lot easier. Ah, bollocks. No, I don't think we're going to see one of the wee wedge shaped rocks. Oh, get the time. And it's game over. Okay, that is the arcade one. Let's crack on and we'll take a look at one of the home versions. Right, this first one is the Amstrad. Now, before I start, you might have noticed it's quite a short Arcade Perfect My Arse. They tend to run to about an hour. This one's only what, 21 minutes, 22 minutes. The reason being there is actually only 5 different home versions of this game. This game was not released on any console, it wasn't released on the Master System, Mega Drive, SNES, PC Engine, any of these at all for some odd reason. I mean the game came out in 1986, so I suppose, I'm guessing by the time the Mega Drive came out, well, I don't know, 1990, 89, 90, this game would have been old hat. Though saying that, it came out in the Amiga in 1987 sort of thing, so I'm guessing it's probably just because the game was quite, the game was quite old by the time it came out. So what can we say about this one? It's rather nice, it's nice and colourful, it's got this distinctive Amstrad colour palette. I mean that could only be an Amstrad, the C64 Spectrum or something capable of doing sort of burnt orange. I mean Amstrad's got quite a good colour palette. It moves nice and quick, quite smooth as well, sounds not too bad. Ah, bollocks, that's always a common thing in race games, that you crash and you've not got enough kind of speed to sort of try and get out the road. That big wall moves up rather nicely. navigate through the little gates for points. And as I say, there's 4 courses. I don't know if you've completed them all, what happens. Is it game over? Do you go on to another course? I've really no idea. Now, rather bizarrely, well, I've just kind of contradicted myself slightly. I've just gone on about how impressive the Amstrad colour palette is. The odd thing is, every flag seems to be blue, and yet the top they're all red. So I don't know why they couldn't have made them different colours. Because in the arcade one you've got to pick the different colours, you want to try and pick each colour, which fills up the 5 flags at the top and gives you kind of bonus points. But this one you've really got no idea what they are. Is it letters on the flag or something? Don't know. Seems to me that you can pick up any flag because they're all the same anyway. But this isn't bad. First time I've ever played. A wee bit kind of graphic collision going on there. We're doing for time. Oh, 2 seconds. It's going to be game over. Hey, okay. That's not bad at all. That is Buggy Boy, and that is on the Amstrad. Let's batter on. Okay then, this bad boy is the Atari ST. Now, I remember getting a copy of this game. It was a pirate copy I got from my mate Grant, and this game blew me away. I just couldn't believe the graphics. Now, I know if you're a sort of a PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, 4 generation kid, i.e. if you're under probably 30 years old, you're probably looking at this and laughing up your sleeve, and you'd be quite right to do so. But what you need to remember, guys, is back in 1986, 1987, we were playing games that had, you know, blocky sprites, blocky looking graphics, monochrome graphics, maybe a couple of colours. They looked shite, really did. So to go from that to suddenly a game that looked like this, you know, looked super high resolution, this just absolutely blew my mind. It just made me realise, wow, I have arrived in the future, you know. Just incredible looking. And that is what you don't want to do. You don't want to go hitting one of these logs just as you're coming up to this river thing. But yeah, the graphics in this version are just astonishing. So if you pick up all 5 flags, then you want to try and pick up as many as you can, because you get 30 points for them. But the important part of this game is you need to try and get to the end before your time runs out. Which I'm just going to do with 7 seconds to spare. And you see there, the little wedge, see it there, there's one there, little wedge shaped rock. If you hit that, it puts you onto two wheels. Oh. You can also smash into the side of the tunnel as well if you're not careful. Oh. And this one, it plays nice and fast. It's possibly not the sort of smoothest looking game in the world, but it's quick to play. You need quite, you know, it needs to be able to move quick to try and navigate around corners, and not corners, sort of avoid obstacles. So it plays really nice, and I never learned my lesson. That's silly. Now the one after this is going to be the Commodore Amiga, so try and take in what this version looks like, then you can sort of compare it to the Commodore Amiga one, which we shall come to in a few seconds. But this is excellent, it really is. Right, anyway, enough of this one, let's move on to the Amiga. So that is Atari ST one, that is superb, and coming up is the Commodore Amiga one. Right, this is the Commodore Amiga one. You'll soon see how it looks once I figured out how to start the game. Oh, here we go. He's remembered what fire button to press. Now right away you can probably tell it's got slightly nicer sound. The sound in the ST one was slightly great, and this one's a bit more sort of subtle. Graphically wise, I'm struggling to see any difference. It definitely plays quicker, and it definitely plays smoother as well, which is a bit of a plus, which you would expect. Obviously, the Commodore Amiga is a more powerful machine. And it seems to just be that wee bit nippy, because it's slightly less kind of jerky. It makes it that wee bit easier to sort of navigate around stuff. This is always difficult. I don't think I've ever managed to get across the bridge first time without dying. Oh, I should have picked up the time extension thing. But yeah, I was super impressed when I got this on the ST, and I was even more super impressed when I got it on the Amiga. One slight graphical difference I noticed: on the Atari ST, when the car's turning, you get dust. On the ST, it's just kind of black, a wee black sprite. On this, it actually looks like kind of dirt. I dare say if you looked at them side by side, you would probably see slight differences. You've always got to remember to knock it down to low and then back up to high once your speed gets built up. Don't die! Hey! Yeah, it'd be nice to have seen this on a console. Like I said, probably it was kind of regarded as old hat by time. You know, by the time the Mega Drive came out and that, people weren't wanting sort of 3-4 year old games. The fact that our industry is now, what, 30-35 years old, 3-4 years doesn't seem a long time, but you know, back in the sort of mid 80s, like 3-4 years was a long time, so people didn't want old games. I don't even know is this game available on any compilation? I can't recall ever seeing this game in anything. Oh, there's a football. Now I don't know why and when you get that. I don't know whether it's just completely random or whether there's some sort of thing you need to do to activate it. Aye, was this ever released on any home console? I'll need to do a wee bit of googling. The first thing I do when I'm making an Arcade Perfect My Arse is I look at Wikipedia to see what versions are out there, and it only mentioned these 5, so I don't know, but I'll need to use Google and see if I can find anything, just out of curiosity. It may well have been released, you know, on one of the sort of compilation things. So anyway, that's the Commodore Amiga one. That is superb. Right, this bad boy, this is the Spectrum Plus 3. I usually just look at the 48K ones, but I saw the option for the Plus 3, so I thought I'd take a look at it. Now, I couldn't for the life of me get the Kempson joystick to work, so I had to go for keys. But the keys actually work pretty well in this game. Now, I noticed as well, I seem to have cut off the top, bottom and edges very slightly in this, so apologies about that. But there's enough of the screen to give you a kind of flavour for it. Now you can see there they've obviously gone for a monochrome look, using little kind of marks in the road to sort of give the impression of speed. Now what they've tried to do here by the looks of things is they've tried to retain the big enormous graphics of the arcade one. I mean, the buggy in this version is bigger than anything we've looked at. The rocks are super detailed. You know, it's almost like they've taken the arcade and they've tried to replicate it exactly, but I think, yep, there you go, I'm on 2 wheels. I've obviously hit one of these wee wedge shaped rock things. Yeah, I hate to say it, but I think they've probably tried to be slightly over ambitious with this one. You've probably noticed when there's a lot on the screen it starts to kind of slop a wee bit. Now that's water at the side, obviously, because it's monochrome, you're not really going to notice too well. Rather than just sort of flip over a few times, it also explodes in a big ball of molten flames. Yeah, very ambitious. You know, you've got to tip your hat to the publishers of this particular version. They've really tried hard, but you know, they might have been better going for the sort of minimalistic look of the Amstrad one, rather than trying to copy the arcade one and shoehorn it into a little machine that's got 48k memory. They might have been better trying to cut it back a wee bit, just get the flavour of the game, you know, get the feel of the game. Kaboom! If this was homework, I would definitely say 10 out of 10 for effort. I'm going to go for a 7 out of 10 for execution. Really, they've just tried to, they've kind of tried to do something but not quite managed to pull it off, which is a shame because it does look really nice, and to be fair, it does play not too bad. I just think there's better versions out there, but that's the Spectrum one. Let's take a look at the very last version. Right, okay, this is the C64 one. Now, although I was a C64 guy, I had actually sold my Commodore when this first came out. I did later get another C64 and buy this because I remember hearing people talking about how good it was. Now, this one is exactly what I've just mentioned there a few seconds ago. What they've done with this one is they've not tried to copy the arcade. They've looked at the game, they've thought, right, what makes the game fun? It's all about manoeuvrability, about being able to zip left and right, speed, smoothness. They've gone for all that. The graphics, yeah, the graphics aren't the greatest, but then the graphics weren't the greatest in the arcade one. So they've tried to just get the flavour and the feel of the arcade game and write it around the sort of the confines of the hardware. This particular version is the version that is widely regarded by a lot of people, maybe not Amstrad and Spectrum fans or even Amiga and ST fans, but it is generally regarded as the best sort of home version of Buggy Boy. It's super twitchy, it's not ideal. I'm playing this using a 360 controller and it's slightly too twitchy, hence the reason I keep crashing all the time. I think it might be slightly easier if you were using a proper joystick. Let's batter and get another shot. Yeah, it's silky smooth, really impressed with it. I think if there was going to be a prize for sort of technical prowess, I would say this would be the one. Really, really sweet version. I've got to praise this because we've looked at other games, Power Drift. But saying that, no, Power Drift was actually pretty good in this. Chase HQ, Outrun, I mean there wasn't a good version of Outrun at all. Chase HQ was bloody diabolical in this. It being a C64 man, I'm delighted to say this is a fantastic little version. Super fast. I'm going to struggle here. Oh, that's game over. Aye, anyway, listen, that is the very last version. That is the C64 one. So let's just do a wee recap, shall we? So let's see, we've got 5 versions. This is the arcade one obviously running in the background here. 5 versions. First one, the Amstrad. Amstrad one was quite similar to C64, not quite as smooth or as fluid. Looked really nice, a few kind of glitchy problems going on there. Just to stop for a second and notice, see you've got these extra buggies Do you get them later on in the game? I'm not quite sure. I certainly didn't see any extra buggies in any other version. I think I may have seen one where I've been playing the arcade one, not too sure. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, Amstrad one, pretty good. Spectrum one, not Spectrum one, the Atari ST one, fantastic. I was blown away when I saw that one. It really made me realise that I had a next generation machine. Commodore Amiga one, even better than the ST one. Looks slightly nicer, plays a bit quicker, plays a bit smoother, sounds top notch. Spectrum one, they've just tried too hard. They've really gone for the sort of arcade look, but I think they've kind of failed slightly because it's just the Spectrum just simply isn't capable of actually producing what it wants. They should have gone for a slight cut down. C64 one, bang on. They've used the hardware, they've produced a fantastic little version. I love it to bits. So very quickly, in bronze position, I'm going to go for the C64 one. Atari ST one is going to take silver, and there's only one winner for me, and that's going to be the Commodore Amiga. Brilliant version. As usual, guys, hope you enjoyed watching it, and thank you very much for watching.